worked for President Clinton. You guys know who that is?
Yes.
Okay, you guys remember the earthquake that happened in Haiti?
Yes.
So I worked with him for a little bit to help people who were hurt after the earthquake. And then I moved to Atlanta, and then I moved here. So that's how I got this job. And we'll be talking a little bit about kind of what my day is like. I'll tell you just kind of the time I wake up, things that I do, and then I want to get right to your questions because you guys have a lot of good ones. Is that okay? All right. So who wants to take a guess what time I wake up in the morning?
3.
I wake up around 2 o'clock. I get to work around 3 or 3:30 in the morning. So how you guys are just waking up, I'm kind of getting ready for bed. When I leave here, I'll be going to bed soon. And I work usually until about 12:30. So when we get into work, we start going over scripts. And so you know how you see us reading and saying the different stories that are going on the news? Well, someone has to write those. And so we have producers that come in and write those stories. And the anchors will go over the stories to make sure they're correct. We'll add in cool ideas. We'll talk to the producers of different things with video and pictures to really make it very visual because compared to newspapers really do long, extensive, and they really get to get a lot of cool details in there, whereas we don't have as much time, but everyone is looking at us. So we have to make sure that it looks good for when you guys turn on the TV. And so that is a typical day for me. I work Monday through Friday. And so we do the show from 5 until 7 in the morning. And so that's after I've gone through my scripts and we get dressed and get ready, put our tie on, our microphone, things like that. And then once the show is over, the morning show comes on. So have any of you heard of CBS This Morning or like the Today Show, Good Morning America? Well, on our channel, CBS This Morning comes on. And so every 25 minutes we give an update. So really we have 1 minute to give you guys the top stories that are going on. So that way if you're getting ready for work or school and you might be watching stories that are happening nationally all over the country, we want to still make sure you know what's going on in Columbia and in South Carolina. So we do that, and then the meteorologist does the weather, and then sometimes I might try to grab a snack or something to eat, and then usually I'll come visit a school or I'll go out and do another story and become a reporter for the rest of the day. So, all right, who has questions? Yes? Have I seen LeBron James? I've never seen him in person, but I have gone to the games before, yeah. All right, who has a question about what I do every day as a job? All right?
Do you report?
Yes, I do report. So anchor, I'll give you guys the difference between an anchor and a reporter because that's something that's very important. You know when you're watching the news and you see the person sitting at the desk? Those are the anchors. So that's what I do most of the time for my job. But sometimes, you said why? Because that's a job that I like and that's what I like to do. I like to be able to be there every morning and feel like I get to connect with people every single day doing kind of a similar thing. Whereas a reporter is the one who will go out in the field. So if you guys ever see the news trucks or you see somebody with the camera out, that's a reporter who's out doing a story. And so the anchor will be the one saying what's going on, and then we'll say, hey, our reporter is at Sandlapper Elementary, and I'll toss it to that person. And then they'll do their story and bring it back to us. So I like the difference, but I get to be a reporter sometimes. So some days if there's something going on, I will go out and I get to have a camera with me and get video and really do interviews and things of that sort. Okay? Yes?
What do you usually do during commercials?
That's a good question. So do you guys have Facebook or not yet?
Yeah.
Little young, something, right?
I got an Instagram.
You have Instagram? Okay. So during the commercial breaks, you guys all know about all this stuff, I'm sure. So during commercial breaks, we are Facebooking, tweeting, Instagramming different news stories that are going on. So making sure, a lot of people, when I was younger, my mom woke up every morning and got the newspaper from outside the door. And she sat there with coffee. Who said, ugh? You guys don't like the newspaper? Okay, well, I'll explain the difference. She sat there with coffee and read through all of these pages of the newspaper every single day. I don't do that. When I wake up, I check my phone. And I check Twitter to kind of get exactly what's happening really quickly while I'm getting ready. And so we want to make sure that we're helping others get the news fast and getting it accurately as well. So we do that. Sometimes we joke around. And also reading ahead for scripts. So one thing about journalism that's very important is being accurate. And you guys will learn that as you guys continue to learn about journalism and writing, and when you guys do different research, you guys do papers sometimes. It's very important to get your information right? So we are always looking over the scripts to make sure that that information is correct and to make sure that there's no mistakes in it so that way we're not telling you guys wrong things. So I don't want to get on the news and say, Sandlapper Elementary School is closed today, when really your principal was trying to say Sandlapper was opening maybe a little bit later, or one of the buildings in the school was closed. But if I say that on the news, your parents might say, oh, we're going to keep the kids home today, and your teachers aren't going to be very happy about that, are they? You guys might get a little excited for a little day off, but you know, it's very important for us to be accurate. And you're going to go to the beach. That's always a good thing. All right, someone I haven't called. Yes, sir.
How do you remember, like, what job you're doing? Like, you said you're an anchor and reporter. So does it make your job easier or harder?
I think it makes my job more interesting because I get to do more than one thing. But if you're anchoring, if I'm anchoring the show, so in the morning when you guys see me on television between 5 and 7 in the morning, I'm only doing that job at that time. But I don't get off until 12:30, and the show is over at 7 in the morning. So I still have a good amount of time left to go do something else, to maybe check out a cool thing that students are doing in the community, or say there was a fire or a bank robbery and people need to be safe. I might go out and go to that scene to make sure that the community has the most updated information. So I never have to do two at the same time. I would only be doing one. And it kind of fits into the same type of job. So it's not as confusing as it may seem. All right, yes, ma'am.
When there is something going on, like a building catches on fire, do you guys actually go there? Like, you guys will just shoot it and see what's happening?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So some people think it's a little scary. Because, for example, I'll tell you a story. One time, and this is not a very good thing, someone robbed a bank. You guys have heard of bank robberies and things before. Someone robbed a Wells Fargo bank. And so we follow, all right, you guys, everything is okay, everyone is all right. But we listen to police scanners. And scanners are basically the walkie-talkies that cops use. So if you ever see in movies when cops are like, breaker, 10-4, I'm going to tell you I'm going to this place, we can hear that in the news station. So if there's ever a fire, if there's ever a robbery, if there's ever anything that's happening that the police or fire department is going to, we're able to hear that inside of the station. And so we will then listen to that and go to the scene because let's say that bank was robbed, there was a school nearby, there were people who lived in homes nearby. And so we wanted to make sure that we were going to keep the community safe to let people know, hey, this school is being closed for right now. You probably should not leave your home if you're inside. If you're not, if you're at work, stay at work a little bit longer. Or if there's a fire. Someone wants to know if their apartment is on fire before they come home. So we'll make sure people know, okay, the fire department is saying it is safe for you to get back, or maybe, you shouldn't, this whole area is blocked off. So sometimes it seems like it's a little dangerous, but we always work with the fire department or the police department to make sure that we're in a safe area and that we're able to get the news to you guys so that way you guys are safe as well. But we are there. So when you see video of that fire on television or you see a new building that is being built, it's not always bad news. When you see students at Sandlapper getting a visitor that day and you see faces on television, there's always someone from News 19 or one of the TV stations who is going out there to get that. Because it's very important. If you turn on the television, you don't want to just see my face all day, and you don't want to hear me say, hey, they built this new playground. You want to actually see the playground. And so it's always important for us to make sure that we have good video to go along with what we're doing. If we can't get video, sometimes we might ask somebody to send us a picture. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of those things that we use for fun, sometimes we'll use that to get news from different people in the community. Because you guys, what happens as soon as you hear something that's going on? What do your parents do immediately, usually?
Go listen on TV.
They will call the cops if it's happening around them, or they'll turn on the television. If there's bad weather, let's say it's snowing really bad and your mom wants to know, can you go to school today? What's she going to do?
Turn on TV.
Turn on the television. So we want to make sure that we're getting you guys all of the information that you need. All right. Yes, ma'am. What building do we work in? Our studio is on Garner's Ferry Road. I'm still learning Columbia, so it's hard to explain everything, where everything is, but it's about 25 minutes away, and it's across from a Target. So everyone say hello to Chris, who's in the back. All right. Chris also All right, you guys stay with me. Chris also works for News 19. He is a photojournalist. So as we were talking about having great video that goes along with the stories that we're doing, Chris goes out all day and he's at multiple places a day. So he might go to 10 or 15 places in one day, getting amazing video. He may interview someone, so that's why it's called a photojournalist, because he's also a journalist. So he may do an interview. So if you see on the news, let's say that, I keep using the idea of a bank, but let's say a new bank opened, and you hear someone say, yeah, we're so excited that this bank came to our community. Well, it might be someone like Chris who went and actually asked them, hey, what do you think about